Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, live from Harlem in New York City, it's me. I'm Alex, and this is the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, Larry Bubbles Brown, yay.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. I just hope you're doing well.
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm surviving, you know. Did I tell you I took a horrible fall?
I'd heard that, so I emailed you, and so I don't know the details.
Well, I was walking down the street or up the street or right in front of my apartment, actually, and all of a sudden I go taking another fall. I've been doing this lately, and I fall flat on my face.
Oh.
And bloodied up everything on my face. It's amazing. But it's amazing now also that about 2 weeks later, it's all gone. You know, I look okay. But it was terrible. It was horrible. So, you know.
You have to go to the ER?
No. I didn't because I didn't hit my head, and I didn't have any headaches or anything like that. So, you know. Whatever. So, you know, I didn't do anything.
And you don't know? Did you trip, or you don't know?
I tripped. I did whatever I do when I fall. I mean, I don't. It's weird. It's all of a sudden you see you're falling, you know. And so I've gotten to the point now where I'm afraid to even take a walk outdoors. You know, I have this PTSD.
Yeah, well, a fall is a very scary thing.
Yeah. Have you ever fallen?
I fall about once a year when I'm running, and it's because when you're running, you're kind of hunched forward.
Yeah.
So if I just hit the slightest bump or something, I'm done. So I'm very careful about it, but it does happen about once a year.
Wow. And have you hurt yourself when you fell?
And not seriously. I just know you always throw your arm out, so that's why people usually break their wrist. They said that bone is broken more than any other bone in your body.
Really?
Wrist.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't throw my thing out or whatever. But anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, well, it's a very scary feeling when you're going down.
Well, we're going to go to Paris for like 5 days in November, the beginning of November. And I'm afraid to go. I'm afraid to walk. I don't think I can walk anymore. I've gotten to the point where I go out and I feel I can't walk. You know, it's horrible. And I've got this PT, but I had to cancel it the other day because why was it I canceled it? There was some reason I canceled it. I had something, and I was kind of feeling sick, and so I didn't go. But I've still got to go to my first PT, and I just don't know if they're going to do anything. You know, they give me these exercises to do, and the exercises don't do anything. I stopped doing them because I was doing the exercises religiously, and then I fell. You know? Well, what incentive is that to do the PT?
Right.
You know? I mean, I really want some help where my equilibrium is worked on. And I don't know, the stuff they have me doing just doesn't seem to do much of anything. I mean, there's one exercise where you stand up and you're in front of like a counter in the kitchen, and you put one foot in back of the other, and you hold it that way for 30 seconds. But, I mean, you're holding on to the counter. It doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Sounds like a waste of time to me.
Yeah. So, anyway. So, what's new with
Maybe
you?
it's...
What?
Weren't you taking some meds? Or you said were making you a little loopy?
Well, yeah, I take a thing called not gabapentin, but pregabalin. which it makes me a little it throws off my equilibrium. But that shouldn't be doing it. That shouldn't be causing the falling. But I don't know. What do I know? What do I know? But
you don't want to break a hip. So.
Well, eventually I'll break a hip if I'm old enough. So people break their hip, and the next thing you know, they're dying. And
it's a very high percentage if you break your hip over a certain age. Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't know either.
My hip gets broken, I die. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. So
probably just a plan to get rid of old people.
Yeah, right, exactly. He broke a hip, let's put him out. Let's
put him down.
put him down. Yeah. So anyway, what's new in the wonderful world of Larry Bubbles Brown? Anything?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't do Comedy Day this year, and I heard there's I don't think they get 1,000 people for that anymore.
Why didn't you do it? Just because it isn't worth it to do anymore, or what?
I didn't feel that great, and I just thought, it's not really. You know how big those crowds used to be. So.
Yeah. I didn't involve myself in Comedy Day much.
You came out to one of them. I remember that.
Yeah, and then I never did again, and there was a reason why. I didn't like what it had turned into.
Well, it got too big. Yeah.
Got too big, but they're only drawing 1,000 people now.
Yeah.
It's almost not worth doing.
No, I don't know. It's kind of sad, but.
Is Debbie Durr still the head of it?
Yeah, she's still in charge of it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess the reason you do it is for Debbie,
Right.
She's such a nice and sweet person,
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you didn't do Comedy Day?
No.
Yeah.
And I've got very few gigs, and I don't like doing stand-up, so I don't know what to do.
What do you mean you got very few gigs? I thought you were working on a fairly regular basis.
I just work with the guys I work with, like Rob and Felipe and Dana, but they're not doing much lately. And actually, Felipe is out of the country, and I didn't want to go hide. I can't. He went to Australia, a 16-hour flight.
Yeah, did he want to take you with him?
He didn't ask, and I was hoping he wouldn't because I didn't want to. I talked to the guy that went with him, and he said that it was a 16-hour flight, and he said if he didn't have edibles, he would have blown his brains out.
Well, I've taken 16-hour flights, and
really, wow.
Yeah, what I do is I usually take a pill to put me to sleep. So that takes care of about 8 hours of the trip. And then you
got 8 more to kill.
Yeah, but part of that is lunch, and you can watch a movie, or you can do any number of things. I mean, I went to China. That was a 16, 17-hour flight. And it went,
I forgot. Yeah, you did.
It went by pretty fast, actually. It's just that, you don't want to do one of those flights because you're going there to stay for 2 or 3 days. You want to take that kind of trip because, we went over for 2 weeks to China. And so, it's worth taking that amount of time to get there. But, so that was my whole deal with traveling.
So you got to be careful about those long flights. You get blood clots from sitting so long.
Well, I don't think that's a general possibility unless you have a propensity to blood clots in the first place. And at least if you get a blood clot, it's something interesting. Something you can talk about. Hey, I took this flight and I got a blood clot.
Yeah.
The only value to me falling was that I can constantly talk about it. So
it's a good story.
It's a good story. I can keep. What's interesting, and you may remember from my show. My whole show was basically, what did Alex do today? If something happened to me, I would then tell a story about it, and I would maybe I could go on for a half an hour on one story, and the story was nothing, you know. I went to the aquarium. Now I don't do anything. I have
I know the
nothing.
feeling.
I have nothing to talk about. Absolutely nothing. And so consequently, I really wish I did have something to talk about. But then I don't. It's just impossible. It's ridiculous. So that's that's my life. It's a very boring, dull existence, and I'm 84, so there's not much I can do. I mean, I'm afraid to go out because I'm afraid of falling, and we're supposed to go on a vacation to Paris, but I'm dreading that because I have to walk through the airport. You know.
Are you going to cancel it?
No, I'm gonna weather the storm. You know. If worse comes to worse, and I find I can't negotiate the airport well, I'll just ask them to give me a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And then you zip through everything.
Right. Do that. But,
Yeah. So, but I still have to figure out what to do. I don't know. But Marjorie wanted to go to Paris for 5 days for her birthday, so I said, okay, why not? But I don't.
Yeah, we got nothing to talk about because you used to have the legal battle, then that got resolved.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to talk about anymore, folks. I'm just absolutely boring. I can't talk about, oh, hey, I went out somewhere for dinner and I went to this restaurant and it was a terrible dinner that I had at the restaurant. I could do a half hour on a horrible restaurant I went to the night before. We don't do anything.
Well, a trip to Paris will give you a lot of material.
Oh, yeah, especially if I fall in Paris.
If you can fall at the Eiffel Tower. I don't know.
Is your leg hurting? Oui. I know how to say certain French words. So, yeah.
Have you been there before?
Oh, to Paris? Oh, yeah, a lot.
Is it great?
Well, usually Paris has been my jumping off point for other places. Okay.
Everybody wants to go to Paris. I don't know why.
Paris is, can I say, a singularly wonderful city. Really. I mean,
really?
It's just, there's just something about it that's just, it's just a beautiful city. You've got this river running through it, and you've got things like Notre Dame when it's open, and you've got, I love the museums. I mean, love the Musée d'Orsay, which has all the Matisses and the Monets and the Van Gogh, and it's one of the world's great museums. So yeah, Paris is really, it's a wonderful city. It feels great. It has a wonderful feel to it. And then, all the little cafes you can stop and have coffee at and so on. And it's wonderful. I mean, if I had one city to visit for 5 days, it would be Paris.
Okay.
And
they don't hate Americans?
Oh, they despise Americans.
Okay.
But so do I. So, we have something in common. What's to not despise about Americans? I mean, this is a country where there's a guy running for president who is a convicted felon who has been found guilty of rape, okay, who's running for president of the United States, and 50% of Americans are on his side. I mean, what does that say about America? That says your chances of bumping into a Trump person is 50% in this country. It's horrible.
Well, it always has been.
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, we had all our problems. We had things like I don't know if you remember the McCarthy hearings, and the House Un-American Activities Subcommittee hearings and crap like that. And so, I mean, we've always been kind of a horrible country. I mean, we would go, oh, America, best place on earth. No, not really. Not really. I mean, if you want to go to Paris, you'll find a much better situation over there than we have here. But, here we got all these people yelling and screaming at each other and loving basically a dictator. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to me that anybody can even be for Donald Trump. Just, especially after that last debate. I mean, I like cats and dogs for dinner just as much as the next guy, but that was a ridiculous statement.
I did not see it, but heard it was bad.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing that anybody who's running for president of the United States would make such an outlandish claim and still be in the running. I mean, Kamala is ahead of him in the polls by about 5%. But there still is that 45% that likes Trump. What does that say about America? Maybe it's just restored my faith in America sucking, But, all you want to do is be able to do your little comedy skits and sketches, and make a living and not have to put up with this crap. And you're not a political comic, so none of this is good for you.
No, I don't. I don't think there are many political comics.
Have you ever had any piece of material in your act? Because I know your act pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine it changes that much over a year.
No.
Anything in your act that you got booed for because somebody politically didn't agree with what you said?
No, I've never.
I mean, I can't imagine that you would face that.
I think the only political joke I ever had was 2000 when Gore ran against Bush, and I said, we've reached a point where the top two men in the country are two guys that aren't qualified to be greeters at Walmart. That was my only political joke ever. So.
And did he get booed by some people?
I actually got a laugh. I think it hit both sides, maybe.
Yeah.
That's how Durst kind of hit both sides. Remember, he would make fun of both parties. And...
Yeah. But, I mean, well, you never had any desire to put politics in your act, right?
No, I think because you're going to lose close to half, no matter who you make fun of, you're going to lose close to half the audience, right?
Well, it could be also, I mean, nobody goes to see Durst unless they're to the left. They don't go to see Durst because they want to hear some good right-wing humor.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, people discriminate against those people who don't agree with them.
Right.
So if you're doing politics and you're putting down Donald Trump, there are those people who are immediately going to discount you as not being funny. You could still be funny and be anti-Trump, or you could be funny and be pro-Trump, although I find that hard to believe. So you've never had to deal with the whole political problem more than anything else. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense that you just, and you didn't do this out of any desire to keep everybody happy. I think you did it more because that's where you figured your comedy was.
All right.
You've defined yourself. And, but I'm sorry to hear that you haven't been working lately.
Kind of by choice. I really don't like it. So
You don't like doing stand-up anymore?
No, I never have. So.
Then why did you do it? Why did you choose it for a profession?
It was the hours. Seriously, absolutely.
You hate comedy, but you do it because the hours are good.
I don't say I hate it, but I just want it. I like it to go well, but I like to get it over with. Mort Saul told me that Frank Sinatra didn't like singing. He said he'd like to do a good show, but he wanted to get the show over and just hang out with his friends. So,
He didn't like singing? I never read that anywhere.
said he couldn't wait to get the show over with and hang out with his buddies.
Oh, well, that might be true.
Yeah.
That he didn't have to he didn't like to go through the process because it took time out of his partying.
Right.
Yeah. But since that's what he did for a living, he had to do it. Well, that's kind of how you feel, right?
Yeah, I'm like a failed Sinatra.
Okay, so what is it about doing comedy you don't like?
It's just you got to worry about it going well and staying up there and keeping their attention for half an hour, 40 minutes, which is hard. And
yeah,
so I would just.
Well, you don't usually do 40 minutes, do you?
Not anymore, no. And you know who else didn't like to do it was Letterman.
Letterman didn't like to do stand-up.
When he was doing stand-up, they'd ask him, "Hey, you're doing 15 minutes," and he'd always say, "Can I do 10?" So.
Yeah, well, but Letterman wasn't a very good stand-up. He was okay, but he wasn't. That wasn't his big deal. I mean, he found his place.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for instance, I would never want to do stand-up. As a guy who's fearful of rejection, why do you want to do a stand-up act, for crying out loud?
Yeah, it's every night. It's just, or sometimes twice a night.
Well, you have a certain fear of rejection, don't you?
Oh, I think we all do,
yeah. Yeah. Because I often said to myself, I could never do stand-up. That was just not in my wheelhouse. And yet I could go up, in front of an audience that knew who I was, okay, and do 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would go do those openings for those warm-ups for Comedy Tonight. Or not Comedy Tonight, One Night, is it One Night Stand? Yeah, the things that HBO did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
One Night Stand.
And I would go up and do about 10, 15 minutes, In the beginning of the week, I had nothing to say. By the end of the week, I had an act. Because I had done about 10 of these, 10 of these warm-ups. And, but I was playing to an audience who knew who I was. So I could simply do stuff that related to the radio show or to me or whatever, and it was pretty easy. But if I had tried to do stand-up in front of an audience, say in Omaha, who didn't know who I was, I'd be dead in the water. I'd be petrified to even go out there. I mean, because it's a scary thing. People don't understand how scary it is. I found, I guess when I first started out in show business, getting up on a stage and even talking to an audience, I couldn't do it, And I don't know at what point I suddenly became okay at it. Because I wasn't bad. I mean, you remember me going up and hosting shows and things like that, and I was fine. But I don't know what that turning point was where I actually started to get good at it or enjoy it. And part of it had to do with the acceptance by the audience of what I was already doing. I had this radio show, and that gave me the authority, shall we say, on stage, which is, of course, as you know, the most important part of comedy is authority. So, but you, I'm surprised to hear you say you didn't like doing comedy.
Really?
No, really, you've never said that to me before.
Really? I thought I had. So.
No. I always thought you liked it. I always thought you looked at it as a way to... You were a true professional. You looked at it as a way to earn a living.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. And make money and get out. So.
Yeah, and be able to, go to a club and party afterwards. Yeah,
it was a good social scene. So.
Yeah. You being a very highly sociable person.
Well, virtually no social life before comedy, so it opened up some doors.
Well, I often said that radio was a great way to get laid, That was basically
Probably the best. Yeah,
Yeah,
much more than comedy.
I mean, was that one of your motivations?
I think it is for all. Yeah, someone said everything men do is motivated by sex.
I guess, yes. You're absolutely right. We're running out of time here, but the big question I would ask you was if you couldn't get laid doing comedy, would you have done comedy?
Yeah, probably not.
Thank you very much. Ladies and
There you
gentlemen, that's another salient time being spent with Larry Bubbles Brown. Thank you, Larry. See you next
Thank
week.
you.
Bye-bye.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that, of course, our old friend Larry Bubbles Brown. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Or Mr. Larry. Or Larry Bubbles. Or Brown. Or Bubs. Or, well, we have lots of names for him. So only one person waiting to talk to us tonight. What do you know? Well, now we have two. Okay. All right, now we have three. All right. If I wait, will we get four? I don't know. Anyway, let's go to our panel. Okay. You know, by the way, still missing this. His hair is not growing back, and that's because of my fall. I just kind of ripped all the hair off of there, and I can't feel any growing underneath it. So Marjorie says it'll grow back eventually, and okay. I will take her at her word. Okay, let me see here. Where are we going to go here? First of all, let's let everybody in here who is already waiting to come on, and that amounts to 3 people. Yeah, and of course Pam, who is helps Jeffrey do his thing. And let me now go to our Zoom panel. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. There's Jeffrey, and there's Alan, and there is Charlie. Hello to you all.
Hello.
Yeah. Watched a very good documentary tonight. If you have Max, it's called Stop the Steal. And it's a whole documentary on Trump trying to claim that the last election was a fake, okay? But the whole story is not told by Democrats. It's told by Republicans. And it's amazing how many Republicans came to hate Trump. It was just amazing. I mean, Bill Barr is in it. The assistant to Pence is in it. I don't think Pence wanted to do it particularly. I think he's had enough of that. But anyway, so we, I watch this thing, and the more I watch these things and the more I'm made aware of Donald Trump, folks, come on, if there are any Republicans out there listening to me or planning on voting for Trump, actually, I would like to hear from you, okay? Because really, this man is a psychological mess. I mean, he's crazy. He's nuts.
Yep.
Wacko in the head. A sociopath. A malignant narcissist.
Anything else?
Huh?
Well,
I'm not saying this because I'm a liberal or because I'm on the left. I say it because it's so obvious to anybody who would look for it. Now I know that it becomes a problem for you Republicans. Who the hell do I vote for? Well, you don't have to vote at all. Okay? You can stay away from the polls that day. If you're not happy with the choice, just don't vote. All right?
Yep.
Your other choice is, of course, to vote for Kamala, which a lot of you might find a disgusting idea to you. So, again, don't vote. Or go find yourself somebody like Jill Stein to vote for. One of the third-party candidates. But don't vote for this malignant narcissist, for crying out loud. I mean, the man is. I think if we actually send a bunch of shrinks to get together to interview him, to talk with him, they would come away with the word to the American public: you can't elect this guy as president. He's crazy. He's nuts. And I just feel very bad that there are people out there who are going to vote for this guy, and for the stupidest of reasons. Oh, he's good with the economy.
Oh,
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, he's not.
He can't even take care of his own companies. If it weren't that we were running for president and he's using all that money that you're sending him to take care of his lavish lifestyle, he'd be broke by now. He doesn't have a penny to his name that, he hasn't gotten in some way. Running for president has become a profession for him. Okay? So I really don't understand people who are that way. Here comes Jason McKinney, by the way. Yes. What?
Trump media is down to $13.55 is what it closed today, down $1.15. It was at 60 or 65 or 70 when it first opened.
Today's the day he had to sell it, right?
Or he could sell it.
Or could sell it.
And when he said last week that he wasn't going to sell because it's a huge loss, he would, the stock went up for a couple of days, and then it's dropped from about $22 when he said that down to today's close at $13.55.
Well, the other thing is, if he goes out and sells, let's say, a large chunk of his stock, the worth of that stock will go down precipitously.
Yes.
It could go under $10. If
it goes under $5, I might buy it. Who knows? It's speculative at that point.
I don't want anything to do with it.
You gonna buy his digital currency?
Huh?
You gonna buy his digital currency?
Yeah, right.
It says Trump Bitcoin.
There's nothing better than Trump Bitcoin. It's funny. He doesn't even know what Bitcoin is. They asked him to talk about it, and he had no idea of what it was.
He's called it a scam before in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think the only thing worse than if Trump becomes president is if he dies in office and we end up with Vance.
Sticky pants Vance?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
starts this rumor of people eating in Iowa, eating their dogs and cats, then admits that it was all made up by him. Now he's again defending it in the news.
Yeah, no, he is just a piece of work.
Did you see how the true story came out of where it all started, where a lady called in about her missing cat?
Right. And the cat was found in the basement.
In the basement.
Right. I saw that in the news today.
And she's so apologetic for it. And I was talking to somebody I work with, and they still believe it because they say the geese are missing. Well, do you realize geese are migratory?
Yeah, sometimes they just take up and leave.
In the shape of a V a lot of times.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It is just amazing how that people are following this guy and believe in him. I mean, there's nothing to believe in.
Trump asked Ravashami to go talk in Ohio today, whatever that city is that's there, that this is all going on. And Phil sends me a link to it. And I said, Phil, it's all over the news that the room was packed with Republicans for Trump. I mean, the questions they were asking, I watched part of it. Everything you can tell, it's Republicans. It wasn't just a sample of this.
Listen,
and a sample of that.
I got to say this. He's not here, but Phil is an idiot. Okay, just a plain idiot. I mean, if he can even follow this guy now after all that's gone on, and again, I say, you don't have to vote for Kamala. You can vote for a third party or don't vote at all. But don't vote for this guy because you don't want to see him president of the United States.
You can
gotta-
still vote for Robert Kennedy in a lot of states too.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can actually.
Who was the third- who was
see
the
the
third
latest.
party?
See the latest with Robert Kennedy. There's this woman, I can't remember which magazine or which news service, who got fired because she was having a inappropriate relationship with Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh, wow.
Jesus
Now
Christ, she must have been blind.
She said it wasn't sexual, but that it was flirtatious in emails. Well, I wonder what what's her name is thinking of this right now.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that marriage to end anyway because I don't think she can honestly believe in what Robert Kennedy Jr. believes in, which again, like Trump, is only Robert Kennedy Jr.
I still can't wait. I swear there's going to be some hardcore evidence coming out that Trump is banging that one conspiracy theorist.
Oh, what's her name? Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Wasn't it?
Guaranteed.
But nobody in
Wasn't
the
it-
press has the guts to ask it at a press conference. Hey, are you, not? Come on,
What does
nicely.
Melania think about you banging this lady?
Yeah, well, no,
really.
are you banging her? Or are you having sex with her? Is
So-
the relationship more than just friendship?
P. Diddy got arrested this week for all this sexual stuff. Is that right? Is
Yep.
it P.
Wait a minute.
Diddy?
What are you doing? You're moving us off the track?
Oh no, this is on the track.
Yeah. So what?
It would be. He has like 44,000 hours of porn. Wouldn't it be great if Trump was in one of them?
He has 44,000 hours of porn.
Yes.
Well,
That's all.
He got his. I don't know. Is it P. Diddy or somebody?
Puff Daddy, yeah. Sean
Hey,
Diddy Combs.
Yeah, Sean.
well, how does
right,
that have
right.
to do with what we were talking about?
Oh well, because I'd love to see Trump in some of those videos.
Well, that's
Just because like Trump was involved with what's his name too, right?
Right.
What's his name? Killed
That's right.
himself supposedly
Yeah.
in prison.
Right. So
Yeah.
P. Diddy's there for drugging underage minors and
no,
and adults.
allegedly.
Sure.
What do you mean? Sure, allegedly.
Well, they got the videotapes arrayed.
I
The
don't
feds have
care.
got the videotapes.
It's alleged, okay, until he's found guilty. This is
Okay.
America. We don't find somebody guilty because you don't like him.
I don't know. We're finding Trump guilty of January 6th, then he hasn't been found guilty.
Well, because the trial hasn't started yet,
Right.
but he's
He's put-
assumed
Trial
innocent.
by combat.
Well, no, but I
Trial
mean,
by
I really, it bothers me. The one thing that's always bothered me constantly was when we don't assume innocence over guilt until it's proven. You know?
Yeah, but when you watch it in live and all of America watched it live.
Let me ask Alan this question. Alan, were you invited to any of those parties that P. Diddy had?
No.
Were you ever in his sphere of influence? Have you
No.
ever known the guy or hung with him? Then how do you know any of this to be true?
How do you know that Trump's really running?
What?
The
What does that
media
have to do
says
with
so.
what I'm just saying?
Because the media says so. I don't know.
What? That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm just trying to talk to you about in America we have a presumption of innocence, and I mean I even think like the way we use bail is we use it as a punishment, and it shouldn't be used as a punishment because a person
I
is
agree.
not guilty until proven so in a
And minorities
Court of law.
usually get the high fines and go to jail because they can't afford them
Mhm.
while they're waiting for trial.
That's right.
And the Caucasians usually get a low bail, even if they're a flight risk, like Trump.
Yeah.
And
Oh, but that mindset has been backfiring a lot lately because we've been letting a lot of freaking bad criminals out and letting them commit crimes. So,
Like where? Give me
like
an
all
example.
over. Like,
Well, give me an example.
the example is like most of the crimes that are happening right now in Detroit are people who have already been arrested and they got like some BS bail and they got out and they go out and they recommit a crime again.
Yeah.
And then they end up killing somebody the second time.
Part
Or
of the
getting car
part of the
accidents.
part of the problem there, Jason, is the fact that we don't have the financial wherewithal to try all these people, and to go ahead with a aggressive conviction of them.
As fast and speedy trial. I agree on that. Maybe it should
Yeah.
just be quicker to get to trial instead of
That
sitting and waiting in jail for a month before you go to your.
very good
Speedy
idea.
trial is a strange term because, in most cases, a speedy trial for like a homicide could be 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
What to me, a speedy trial is next week.
Well, but what I'm saying is that they don't have the wherewithal. A lot of these communities to do
I
all the aggressive prosecution they should do.
Tax the rich.
What?
Tax the rich. Then you'll have the resources to do that.
That's right. That's right.
Tax the ones who can afford it.
But all I'm saying is that, like, for instance, when you talk about crime in Detroit, I mean, to begin with, here's a myth that we have more crime in America today than we have in the past. Actually, we have far less crime.
And that's what kills me. There's this guy running right now. In his commercial, he says crime is up and wages are down.
Actually,
Such a
wages are
lie.
up and crime is down.
Exactly. You want to be honest about it. You can sit there and say, inflation is higher than wages have been increasing. That would be a truthful statement, but stop bold-faced lying in your ads.
No, actually, we have our economy is in pretty good shape right now. It's one of the best economies in the world.
I had somebody friend I work with on Facebook put, if you're better off now than you were 4 years ago, you're probably here illegally. And my response was, are you not investing in your 401k? Because, and are you locked in your house and you can't find toilet paper? Because that's what it was 4 years ago.
I guess I'm here illegally.
I looked at my my portfolio today, which I tend not to do, especially when the market goes down precipitously, because you're going to get very depressed, okay? And it went down precipitously a couple of months ago, and I got very depressed when I looked at how much the money I had just invested had gone down. Well, today I looked at it, and if I add everything up and the money I've already spent, I'm back to what I had before plus, and I've spent some money in the meantime. So I really have made money in the last couple of, and this isn't a 401k or anything. It's just,
I'll say in the last year, I made $100,000 in my 401k.
Really?
So I'm doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So, over 4 years.
So is your life better today than it was 4 years ago?
My life's great, man. I'm a union worker. My wife is a union worker. We both have decent jobs. We make good money. Like all these fluctuations in the market don't really affect us because we have contracts.
But I mean, they have all these myths going. Trump would like you to feel that the money you're making, the wages are down, that all kinds of money is down, and the fact is that everything's pretty much on the upside now.
My stock portfolio is worth more than it's been in 20 years.
See? Good example right there.
Right. And they want to keep on throwing out with gas prices, which
gas prices are high, but they've come down in California.
Right. But they're
down to under $3 in some areas.
When Trump was in office, though, gas was like $1.78 a gallon. But they were also paying people to take oil because they couldn't do anything with it because nobody was driving because everybody's locked in their house.
Right.
Right.
Our gas for the car is substantially less than it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, whoever wants to say that things are terrible, I'm sorry. The statistics don't show them as true.
Gas prices in California are probably the highest in the country.
They always have been because you've got in California we have they have those extra taxes that are thrown onto it. If you chopped out all those taxes, your gas would be like $2 a gallon,
Something like that, yep.
But it's horrible. I remember, what do you think of my lifetime I've seen as the lowest price for gas?
14 cents.
29
38.
cents a gallon.
38.
He's close.
I
9
remember,
cents.
Well,
Nine
I
gas
remember
cents.
29 cents a
11
gallon.
cents.
29 is the lowest I remember.
9 cents, and I'll tell you why it was 9 cents, because back then they had a thing called price wars on gasoline.
Yeah.
And the prices would start going down like crazy. And what it was you had guys like Standard Oil who maybe, let's say there was a corner, there was a intersection. And on this side was a gasoline station, maybe an independent. And on the other one was Chevron. But they couldn't sell their gas cheaper than the guy who was the independent. So what they did is they started a thing called... Mad Dog. What was the name of the company? But they started a gas company called the Wild Dog. I can't remember. Somebody write me.
Help us out, Kevin. Your father owned a gas station.
But it had a weird name to it. I'll remember it in a second. And they would put that on the other corner, and then sell gas for less than the independent could sell it for. Then the independent would go broke, have to shutter up his store. They would then shutter up this Mad Dog or Wild Dog gas company, and all that was left standing was the Chevron station. Ta-da! And that's why sometimes you had price wars. And I saw them go down to, I believe, 9 cents, maybe 8 cents.
Yeah, the lowest I can remember is about 29 cents.
How about you, Kevin? What's the lowest you remember it?
25 cents.
25 cents.
I used to fill up my mini bike and the lawnmower for 25 cents.
I remember 9 cents.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest buck on the show, and I do remember 99 cents, and I swear I remember 79 cents one time.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely remember 99 cents because of my dad's gas station. We had only had the 2-digit gas pumps. So it was the 2 digits and then the point.
That was the problem.
Yes, you
And
remember
That
when they
happened
had
while I
to
was in
add
high school.
when they
We
had
always
to
had,
add
whenever
the
we changed the price on them, we had to switch it back to like 50 cents and then charge double until they came out with the 3-digit gas price.
Right. And that happened while I was
Gas
in high
pumps.
school. I
Yeah, we
remember.
always used to say, okay, it's 50 cents, but remember, we're charging you double, and that whole bit. But
Yeah.
that was back in the days when you had to manually go in there and open up the front of it and then move the key over and change the gear.
I just remember as time went on, when you put your the pump in in the gas hole
Nozzle,
in
yeah.
the car. What do we call it? The fuel
The
hole.
nozzle in the car, yeah.
Nozzle in the car. And you click it on. It would take a while to get to $1. By the time I left California, if it blinked, it got to $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my dad.
Now you blink and it gets to $100.
Yeah.
For $2.
And I guess I'm old enough that I still actually remember somebody actually pumping gas for me.
Oh no,
Oh,
they
yeah.
do you know in New Jersey they still have to?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oregon, too.
Oregon has places that you can do it, and Oregon has places you don't have to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was just there last week.
They wouldn't let me.
I was just there last
Oh,
week.
but I remember you would pull into a Richfield gas station, and you'd be invaded by like about 4 guys who were all attacking the car at one time.
Right.
Yeah. Checking
was
Pump in your gas, check your oil, wash your windshield.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah. And then
Leave
all
it
of a
for
sudden,
greasy tie.
no, they were like latex ties or something.
Oh, no, they were ties. There were some
Bow
that were
ties,
clip-on
bow ties.
nylon ties. And
Well, they had
we used to use them.
uniforms.
We used the back of them to check the dipstick.
Yeah, but one guy would check your tires, another guy would check your oil, another one was doing your windshield, another one was pumping the gas.
I would pay a few cents a gallon extra for that.
Yeah, but in New Jersey, they have somebody who comes out to your car and pumps the gas for you.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
still
job.
do up in Oregon. Some of the stations we pulled into. I pulled into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gas stations, and probably 4 of them pumped the fuel for me.
Wow.
You get out to pump it, and they say, "No, I'll get it for you." And then a couple of them said, there's a sign there that says you can self-serve if you
Well,
want.
that's incredible. If you think
Yeah,
about
how
it.
much do you save by self-service in Oregon?
Nothing.
Oh,
Not in Oregon. But they got a little tax thing, and I meant to take a picture of it, but the taxes on there were all 0.19, 0.25, and I'm going, geez, if that was California, it'd be 1.3, 1.5,
Right.
15 cents, 20 cents.
We probably pay $1.75, $2 a gallon for gas here.
I'd have to look, but it is pretty high.
Well, what's added on there now in California?
Oh, excise, earth tax,
Federal tax, yeah,
bare butt scat
am I
tax,
mistaken, or is maybe the added taxes equal to the actual cost of the gasoline?
Probably.
What's that?
It is the cost of the extra added things, the taxes on the gasoline, not pretty
It's about
much
a third of the gallon.
it's
About a third of the cost of a gallon.
really about a third of a cost. I thought it was more than that.
No, it's about a third, and then it changes. When the weather changes here in California, they put more
Winter
oxygen
blend, summer
in it.
blend.
They put different chemicals in it and stuff like that, so they change it for that too.
Yeah,
Formulation is different.
the summer blend.
So they say.
Yeah. Screw that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't own a car. I haven't owned one in 15 years. Because living in New York, why are you going to own a car?
Right.
You're in New Jersey, right, Charlene?
Oh, yeah, that's why I had a call because you mentioned gas pumping in New Jersey.
Yeah, they pump it, right? Am I right?
Yes. That and Hawaii, maybe. I don't know. 2 states in New Jersey.
Kevin just said up in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I hope they don't change it because would have no idea how to pump that gas.
That's funny.
No, I
California,
wouldn't.
California is about 68.1 cents per gallon.
Reading that too, but that doesn't seem right.
That doesn't seem right, but that could be. I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing, but it could be less. Some other.
Plus,
time.
there's federal excise tax. That's California tax.
Yeah, there's.
And there's federal excise tax and federal Department of
Okay, now it
Transportation
says down
tax.
here average 3.60 a gallon too.
Yeah. Well, we're paying about $5.50 a gallon around here right now.
Yeah.
I do love watching
Average
those videos of like kids who are they're filling up their car and they don't know how to pump gas and like almost trying to put it in the tires.
I just hand them a rotary phone.
Yeah.
They can put that in for 3 days and try and
Or they
figure
grab
it
the
out.
diesel one.
When I was teaching my kid how to pump gas, I was telling him, all right, stop, it's done, pull the gas, out. He pulled it out, but he didn't turn the pump off, and he pointed right at me. He sprayed gas all over me, and he felt so bad. But I was telling him afterwards, I'm like, see, you'll never do that again, will you?
Well, when the gas is completely filled up the tank, it turns itself off, right?
Right.
So,
But it wasn't full yet. He was pulling it out because I told him, all right, that's enough. Pull it out and pulled it out, but didn't
I'm
turn
trying to remember how you
off.
do that. You pull on again, right?
I don't
to
know in
stop
California if the pump will continue. With the
If you
smog.
have it locked, there's you pull the pump up.
I
There's a
understand
little
what you're
switch
saying.
in the back to lock it
Yeah.
to hold the thing on, so the pump is still on. So
Yeah,
he
see-
pulled it out and
And then
didn't
when
squeeze the trigger, and I just thought that was just normal because I
Yeah.
And
in
when it's
California,
filled up,
they
it
used
stops
to be that
it.
way. I'm sorry.
No, it stops it. It still
In
does.
California, they have a hose inside a hose, and one hose is a vapor recovery. And once it gets to a certain point, it'll shut off, and you can't put
Right.
any more gas.
What
in
is the
tank.
vapor recovery? I never had that when I was
Smog.
in
For
California.
smog shit, I guess, or something. And of course, they tax you for that too.
that's what stops your pump. Like if your gas tank is full, it stops.
Well, no,
No, there's a sensor in there that catches the flow coming.
that's
back.
right.
The
That's right.
vapor is just taking the vapor and putting it back into the tank so that the truck can come and put on its vapor tank. And when it fills up, it takes the vapor back to the plant. And then the plant takes it. and
You've completely
burns it all off.
lost me, but maybe it's because I haven't owned a car in 15 years.
But that's what I'm saying. If you have the lock on and you pull the pump out, it's still going to spray
Yeah,
because it's
right.
not,
You can pull the foreskin back and still pump. It still works. It's
Now I
it's the little
understand it.
square
Now
thing
I
inside the
understand.
nozzle that senses
You're
the
right. You
backflow.
can pull the flexible. Yeah, foreskin's a good name for it. The rubber thing in it will still continue to
Because
pump.
everybody that goes in pretty much to get a gas fills the tank up,
I
right?
fill it up every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always pump it. They say not to, but I always pump it full.
No, don't do
Oh,
that.
extra
I
pump
call
it,
Let it
stuff
stop when it stops. It's
I
bad for your
stuff it.
car.
Really?
even it
Why is
off to the nearest dollar.
Why is it
Yeah.
bad for the car?
Yeah.
Because your tank's only supposed to hold so much.
Yeah, they tell you don't do that now in newer cars. Like in the old days, you could do it, but don't do it now. That's what I heard.
It's a bunch of
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like Kevin.
It's all BS.
It's-
I have a 36-gallon tank, and I can get about 35 gallons in there if I play with the pump a little bit.
yeah.
I'll
well,
listen to the engineers who are the experts and listen what they tell me to do.
So it's 60 cents for state tax, and then another
Yes.
18 cents of federal tax.
Yeah.
And let's see, 58 cents, so it's 78 cents.
Sounds
Plus
worse
the
than the
California
T-tax.
Air Quality Board tax.
Yeah, they got some other
Remember
shit.
that old
Plus
T-tax?
sales
In the old
tax.
days, it sounds worse than that.
Probably the vapor tax and everything else.
Right.
I had one auto mechanic tell me you're not supposed to let the gas tank get less than halfway full because then it's more inefficient. So you can't
Bad
fill
for
it
the
up all the
engine.
way, and you can't let it get more than
Yeah,
half.
they say that too. Yeah.
You'd be going by the gas station twice a day.
Well, when
They
the gas
love
gets
that.
expensive, that's what I do anyway. So because it's less on your pocket.
Yep.
yeah, I don't know if I get that though. I mean, why can't you fill up your tank all the way? Why is
I
that
do
bad?
every time. I
It's
still
like
get 25
spillage.
gallons.
It's like spillage or something. I don't know. It's not
No.
good to let it go over.
No,
Once it's
no.
full, I've heard that. Don't go over trying to even it out to an even dollar.
Yeah, it's just when
Just
the pump
cut it.
stops, you're supposed to stop because there's like a
Yeah.
vapor thing in
Yeah,
your
but
tank.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
If you
Not
go
that
to
I-
if you go to one gas station, go to 4 different pumps, they'll stop in 4 different times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
if it backs up, it's going to stop.
Yes.
My work
because of
truck,
the-
man, I can't even friggin' pump gas right in. I have to put the gas nozzle in upside down for it to even pump
in
gas
this
in my
whole
truck.
discussion,
Well,
I'm
that's 'cause it's
hearing,
electric.
I'm hearing an
Is it a Ford?
unbelievable.
Chevy.
I'm hearing an
Okay.
unbelievable.
Because they have a curved neck
Wait.
that goes too fast, and if the
Yeah.
fuel backs up, it hits that sensor.
In
and
this
shuts it
whole
off.
discussion, I'm hearing any number of sexual innuendos that I can refer
Absolutely.
to.
when you're sticking something in a pipe,
We're not
I mean, what
offending
do
you,
you
are
want?
we, Charlene?
No, no.
Nothing
What did they
offends
call
her.
that in my writing class? Oh God, it was I forget what he called it. A phallic symbol. The
A
gas
phallic
Tony
pump
might
is a
be
phallic
offended, but
symbol
not
tonight.
Charlene.
Well, I call it sexual innuendo. You know.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it could be taken that way.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I mean, with this whole thing about gas, I mean, gas prices are quite low right now. That doesn't mean they're not going to go back up come summer or whatever. And once again, it'll be Biden's fault. So.
Yep.
I know. I think it's still Obama's fault, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
and then-
think, I mean, for
Right.
all people want to complain about Biden, the fact is, while he's been president, things have been pretty good.
Yep.
I'm doing fine.
But inflation is up, so that's what people are talking about, and it is. Inflation is up, and that's your one complaint. You can really have
well,
a legit
But
argument.
inflation is cyclical. It goes up and down on its own.
It
Doesn't matter
does.
what president's in office, to a certain extent. Oh
Wait.
my
Well,
God,
I heard
Brian!
because
Wait,
they
wait a
raised-
minute. Has Brian become a wrestler?
It's here. Oh boy.
where's the boxing gloves?
Wait, yeah. Well, where are you? Oh,
Oh, you just got out of the pool.
Oh, is that your pool in your new place?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And
You know,
we
man.
just- we were just
Hi.
swimming.
Hmm?
Say hi. Say hi.
It's Adrian.
Oh,
It's Adrian.
there's Adrian. Hello, Adrian.
No, say hi. Hold on. Say
Hi.
Hold
Hi.
on.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. There's the two of them together.
Hi,
Oh, there
honey.
we
Hi.
Going over for a swim, are you?
Yeah, it's so nice out here tonight. Yeah, so we just got done.
Really?
Okay,
Is that
and
pool
then let-
your pool only?
yeah, and then it's got a waterfall and fountains, and then look what's on TV.
Oh, hey, hi, everybody. How are you? Yeah.
I'm on TV.
I don't know how this works.
Look,
But
Mom.
everybody's on.
Wait a minute. I should be waving in a second, but anyway. So no, it's really that pool is lovely.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got a great place.
Yeah,
there.
and then there's pergola. I got to do something with this whole area.
Pergola, not a pergola. It's a pergola.
Pergola.
Sounds like Phil and nuclear.
Right.
Pergola. Yeah.
So anyway, sounds like a nice house you got yourself there.
Yeah, it's just an hour away from everybody, but it's really nice.
Yeah.
We'll
I was
stop
just
by
gonna
and
say
knock
it's
on
in the
your
middle
door
of
the other
nowhere.
day.
He
Yeah.
buys and sells houses. He buys and sells cars.
No.
Brian, in so many ways, I am so jealous.
He looks like he's gonna box Muhammad Ali tonight. You're right, Alex. He looks like he's gonna do a boxing match with Muhammad Ali tonight.
Yeah.
Who plays bets?
Yeah.
I got Ali in the first. Ali's dead. God rest his soul.
So anyway,
Did you ever get rid of your spider problem,
what?
Jason?
Who had spider problems?
Yeah,
I
somebody
will
did.
never get rid of my spider problem. I don't care how much chemicals I use on my house. Every year they'll be back.
Sorry.
We don't have any spiders here. We don't even have any mice here, or rats.
Bed bugs in
What about
there.
cockroaches?
No,
Yeah, cockroach.
I've seen in the entire time we've been here almost 15 years. Okay,
Wow.
one cockroach.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a big building too.
Well, they come by and they constantly spray.
Oh, so they spray. Okay.
Yeah. But I haven't seen it, and now I'll see one. But I haven't seen a cockroach here. I saw one cockroach, and that was it. And we had one mouse, and that was it. You know.
The last time I was in Chicago, I stayed at the Palmer House Hilton in the Loop, and I had to change rooms because there were more cockroaches than there was carpet.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
They changed. They give you a different room.
Well,
different
cockroaches, like when I was down in my other apartment down on Houston Street, and it was a newer apartment house than this one, obviously. I had just an horrible infestation of cockroaches. I had to hire somebody to come in from the outside.
Didn't you say you called him Ike? You remember?
I called her the Eichmann of roaches.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. You tell me that. You get him over again. Oh,
She
great.
came in
Yeah.
and she just started spraying. She pulled the oven out of the wall, and then sprayed underneath, and these roaches are running everywhere. And then there was this one area where there was a kind of like a box thing, and she sprayed in there, and they all came running out.
Oh,
After that, I never saw another roach. And the problem we had was we didn't have roaches till somebody down the hall moved out.
Yeah.
And they had
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
roaches, and the roaches then got to go somewhere where there's.
That's right. Yeah.
Stuff.
No more food there, so yeah.
They came to your house.
So the idea of how you get.
home.
Yeah, but you know, we were all roached up down there, but here I haven't seen a single roach. You know,
Isn't there one next year, Beth?
the worst vermin I've seen here are landlords. But anyway, and believe me, I'd rather have roaches than landlords. Anyway. So, you know, I just keep saying that I don't understand how even a Republican can excuse this guy's behavior today. You know, and we hate to talk about Trump all the time, but this one is definitely one we got to talk about. Today, he said that if he loses the election, it'll be the Jews' fault.
Oh, no, you're kidding
How are they
me.
getting blamed? Huh?
No.
He said that, Alex? For
Yeah.
real?
He
Yeah,
said
he did
that.
say.
Yeah,
I missed that one.
he was,
he was at the
at
Jewish.
he-
He was at a Jewish
anti-Semitic
Thingy.
meeting. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And he said if he loses the election, it'll be the Jews' fault.
What
That's
are they,
good.
like 2% of the population of America?
That's what I understand, at least at the latest count.
Well, maybe all the Jews are supporting Kamala this time.
that could be
Doesn't matter.
too.
2%.
You know,
Nice.
here comes Bree. Of
More
course,
for the
here
guy
comes
who's
Bree.
sounding
He's
like-
eating
I like
Imagine that.
Oh, it's dinner or lunch, right?
Lunchtime.
Lunch.
lunch. Yeah, it was.
As a cat or dog, are you in Springfield, Ohio?
My dog's missing. My
Have
neighbor.
you seen that Trump eat the cat video? Eat the cat. Eat,
Cat
eat,
take
eat
the
the cat. That is hilarious.
Well, there are places in this world where they eat dog. I think in Indonesia, there's some cultures that eat dog. Am I right about that?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam. We were driving a city tour, and then they said, "See that one word? That's dog."
Oh, that's unruly.
Hey, but if you think about it, we eat pig
I will
all the
be
time,
there.
and pigs are smarter than dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
The
And they
man's
make
best friend is
and
his
by the
dog,
way,
not
they
a
make
pig.
better
Oh,
pets.
man.
They
I
make
think the
very
National
good
Pig
pets.
Association is going to vote
Yeah.
against Trump.
Well, what about cows? Right? Cows. India worships cows, and
Yeah. They
we
think,
chop them up. They're
Right.
good eat.
yeah,
The
we're
cows are a
I
stupid
just
animal.
want milk. I don't eat.
Well, I told you at the time that we were in Norway, and at the Olympics, and boy, we ate these hamburgers that were just great next door to the studio where the studio was, and it got to the point where we were eating like 3 of these burgers a day. They were so good, and finally I said, "Boy, these are great. Where did you get the meat for this?" They said, "Oh, that's reindeer."
yeah.
And I should have known with that. There was a glowing nose in my hamburger once, and I should have known. You know.
Should have been a
Eating
giveaway.
Bambi.
Yeah.
No, that's Rudolph.
Rudolph.
Bambi.
No, Bambi. Bambi's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
Disney, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, when
So,
Bambi's mommy got killed, I was just
Yeah,
a
he always
mess.
does that.
I was
Yeah,
just a
right.
mess.
That was awful.
Yeah. Yeah. I often
What an
said,
awful movie.
everybody went, "Oh, we're going to send our kids off to a Disney film." Yeah, sure. Learn all about how to be a racist. Learn how to be, how to kill off Bambi's mom. You know.
Matricide.
I often here's one of the things I didn't like about Disney. I often felt that the witch in Snow White looked Jewish.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
That's
with
a nose?
He had the
I was
big
gonna say-
nose, and I figured that was his way of going. Yeah, you know,
That
witch.
was a little anti-Semitic.
I always thought it was, but that's me, you know. But anyway, so again, let's guess what Bree is having for lunch. Is it the
$7.
same thing you always get?
It is. I always come here on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It's inexpensive and it's good quality. And I can change my lottery tickets up the streets, get some fresh vegetables and fruits. So it's good.
Do they include sea urchin?
I'm sure that they have that.
By the way,
Yeah.
interesting little trivia question I found, and I'm going to ask that Charlie not answer this because Charlie is so good at math and everything. But the question is, on the day they changed to daylight savings time, when it's 4 o'clock in the morning here in New York, what time is it in California?
Maybe
1.
4 o'clock in New York. It's
1.
3 hours ahead of us.
What?
No, not 6.
Oh, normally we're 3 hours ahead of you. Yeah.
Right.
It's a 3-hour difference.
Nope.
That's right.
Nope.
1?
Nope.
Because you lose an hour, I think.
It's always 3 hours.
No.
No, with daylight, it's
What's
just,
the question?
It's
I think
on,
you
it's
lose
on the
some,
day,
right?
the night that we go to daylight savings time.
It's
Midnight.
an hour.
That's
change.
right. There
Yeah,
you
you get
go.
an
It's a
hour
trick
change.
question.
Midnight. Yeah.
I do
All
know
you got to
teams.
do is watch the ball drop in New York, and it happens at 9 o'clock on TV here.
Yeah,
For-
but the day we go to daylight savings time, it's the hour you fall back an hour. I mean, you
Yeah,
turn
but-
ahead an hour
But
in
it,
New York
Hmm.
before you turn ahead an hour in California.
Who
there's
gives a
4
shit?
I
hours.
haven't done it
Sleep.
yet.
yeah, so it's 4 hours. It's the one time that there's a 4-hour difference.
For 3 hours.
Yeah. So
4 hours for 3 hours.
you all flunked that one.
I got it right.
It's
After
easier.
try 2.
After everybody got it wrong.
Who gives a crap? I'm asleep.
Right?
Well, some of us aren't.
Yeah.
Some of us stay up well past 2.
Oh yeah,
Weirdos.
absolutely.
I like to watch what my watch does, because
So does that mean the less toes you have, the less you have to sleep?
Oh, that's cold. That's wrong on so many levels.
I save so much time because I don't have to clip those toenails.
I wonder if I got a pedicure today. I wonder if they would have gave me a discount.
Now, do you have a phantom limb there? I mean, do you have phantom
Yes,
toes?
my toe will hurt sometime and there's no toe there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
No, that happens.
Especially when a
People-
Republican walks by.
This is true. This is true. I had a friend in Texas when I was working in Texas, and he got into an accident, and they had to remove his leg. And he was one of the announcers at the station. And finally, he came back to work, and we didn't know how we would react to it. But you react to something like that pretty easily. Once you see him with no leg, you go, okay, he has no leg. But he said that he wondered what happened to his limb. So it happened in Tyler, Texas, and on a night, with the time when he went back to Tyler, because that's where he's from, he went to the hospital, and he said, what did you do with my leg once you chopped it off? And he said, we bury it. And he said, why? And the doctor's answer, and I swear to you, was to prevent phantom pains.
Oh my God.
It didn't work for me.
Well, maybe they incinerated yours.
They burned it.
Or donate them to science.
But I thought about
That's the
it,
other
and I
thing they
went,
do.
we know this.
UCSF gets a lot of them.
Huh?
UCSF gets a lot of them because I used to deliver there, and you'd go into the wrong room and you'd see some weird shit.
Why would they?
Why is it we always get into these discussions right at my lunchtime? Every Saturday. Could you do this Wednesday or Thursday?
And I was thinking Adrian, poor Adrian, but she's not listening.
Just
right?
suck it up. And
Does
eat your
any
lunch.
part of your lunch look like a toe?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or maybe a blend up the toe.
Charlie, do you have your big toes?
I have my big toe on one foot, but on my left foot.
The other foot, they got them
all.
all.
My toes are gone on my left foot.
So you can't wear thongs, right? Thongs
No, I
are
can't wear thongs. No.
Oh, flip flops, you mean?
sandals.
Or you can't wear those.
I was thinking he meant the other thong.
Right? Well, I said, why stop you wearing from thong?
No, that's
It's just your toes.
Poor Adrian's hearing.
Now, do
That
you have
part's
an
not cut off.
do you have an insert in your shoe?
That I can hook between. I don't have any toes.
I do.
Do you have an insert in
I
your
do.
shoe?
Yes.
Not
I do,
anymore.
yeah.
I did for a couple of years, but it wasn't worth it.
Oh, okay.
You probably gotta learn how to walk again because your toes have a lot to do with your balance, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah.
Well, it also ruined his desire to play football. So,
Why he does baseball instead of softball.
yeah.
Syracuse just lost to Stanford. Yeah.
Who did what?
Stanford beat Syracuse on a last second field goal. Broke my heart.
College ball.
Broke my heart. Yeah. Syracuse was supposed to win that game.
Would I be terrible if I said I don't care?
No.
Hey, the University of Texas is #1.
Hey, Alex, who's
First
going to
year
win the
in
Super
30
Bowl?
years.
What?
Yep.
What'd you say, Jason?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
University of Texas.
Well, we don't know who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
Tell you who, man.
I'm not that stupid. Who's
The Jets
singing
are gonna
this year
win.
at the Super Bowl? Didn't they just?
Jets Jets.
They just.
You know the Lions.
Yeah, the Jets are looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Come on now. Come on.
They got killed by the 90s, yeah.
All right, well, go ahead, you guys. Talk about sports. I'll just sit here.
See, you did your own thing wrong. You should have came back with, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Or you'd get your, when
yeah.
you said you went on the sports show. The
Oh,
one
and I
night or
had to
something.
do a sports show. Yeah, I found it was the easiest thing in the world to do. You know, You could bullshit yourself through a sports show. There's no question about it. But no, what was I was going to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
I think you were going to say the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, what?
I don't think they're even going to get in the playoffs.
No.
Oh, BS.
Alex was going to tell us he has a sports Emmy.
I do.
Right.
I do have a sports Emmy.
Dust it off, Alex. The
Huh?
sports Emmy. Yeah.
But none of them were for football. So I have one sports.
Who gets your
Emmy.
sports Emmy?
I have one.
Who gets your sports Emmy?
Who gets my sports
Right.
Emmy?
Who are you willing that to?
Well, Oh, I guess I should will them to somebody.
How many? You have two, right? You have two of them?
I have one. I have one that was for performance. Okay, and the other one was for being part of a sports show.
Hey, will your Emmys to anybody you feel like, just will your cash to me.
Do you know who I'm giving my cash to?
Thank you.
Marjorie and I have decided who we're giving our money to.
Adrian, you're going to be rich. Adrian, come here. Talk to
Adrian
Uncle
is
Alex.
well off.
Talk to Uncle Alex.
As he says from his pool.
We're still
We're
still doing our research to make sure that it's the right place for the money to go, but we're thinking of giving it to St. Jude's.
Oh, Adrian just changed her name to St. Jude.
Yeah. But the reason why,
she looks unhappy now.
Yeah, but the reason why is that I watch their commercials. And I like the way they do their commercials. None of those kids are looking pathetic. They're all looking like kids who have gotten on the other side of it and are well and happy to be well.
Okay, Shriners is
wait a minute. Wait a minute. She just found out she isn't getting the money.
Look at that sad look.
She said, "Look happy, look sad." She looks everything.
Damn! Now you're gonna have to go pick which McLaren you're gonna go drive around in.
No, but has anybody heard anything bad about St. Jude's?
No, I
hear good things. I hear good things. Yeah.
Shriners is really good too.
I don't like what they do in their ads, though. They do the pathetic kids.
Yeah, Shriner does do that.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Ever since the United
And I'm not giving
Way
it, by the
thing-
way, I'm not giving it to Cars for Kids. Okay.
Thank you.
I hate those commercials.
You don't like those ads?
KARS, Cars for Kids.
It's worse than It's a Small World.
Ever since the United Way.
Adrian,
I
I
was
listen
with,
to Sports Talk, and Adrian knows that song. Right when it comes on, the first note, she'll start singing. So
What, Cars for Kids?
All you need to hear is the first one.
Go ahead, sing the Cars for Kids song, Adrian.
Your cars
Hey, you know something? Maybe we should go out and audition for those commercials now. Although those kids have been doing it so long, they're probably all dead.
But isn't it Jewish camp to send Jewish
They all got
kids
their
to
own
camp?
kids now.
What?
The 1-800 Cars for Kids.
That's not
Wasn't
a
that
Jewish camp. No.
Yes, it
It has
is.
nothing to do with Jews.
Oh
They never
no,
really say
that
where
was
it
the
goes.
biggest thing that was that they were misleading people that they were actually it was for sending Jewish kids to camp. That's what it was about.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, there was a big conspiracy about it for like a few years that they were misleading people.
Oh, 82 cents. What? Your whole, all your food costs you 82 cents?
No.
That's how much your dollar goes there.
At St. Jude's, and they say 82 cents out of every dollar goes to the
that's
actual
pretty
charity.
That's
They're
pretty
very
good.
low overhead. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
You can
Now,
look
does
all
that,
that
does
stuff
that
up.
include the cost of like doctors and things like that?
Yep,
That
all their
82
admin
cent,
and
that
everything.
well, the 18
Yeah.
cents. So that's
look all
good.
those up
That's
on,
damn good.
There's a website that you can look all that stuff up on.
Yeah. Well, no, I looked them up, and I looked for bad reviews about them and so on. Couldn't find any. Nobody had
The
anything bad
Christian
to say.
Kids
about them.
is the worst.
What?
The Christian Kids is the worst. They take you out. Some guys interviewing these kids and just 4 cents a day, and I mean it's horrible.
Yeah.
Just don't look up Danny Thomas and glass tables.
I know that. I've actually, oddly enough, I've actually been to St. Jude's Hospital.
I have
Shecky
too.
and I went there because we wanted to go to the Danny Thomas Memorial. Because we
Oh, I
wanted
remember that story. Yeah.
we wanted to see if they had a glass table there.
I didn't look for that. I was just there for the hospital itself. Yeah.
I had a friend, Alex, and she got really mad when I told her that story.
But
I had to Google it.
Does
for
anybody
her.
know the story we're referring to, or the so-called legendary story?
Tell Bree
Yeah,
while he's
we're
eating.
all here, but
Well, it's just that
Cover her.
they say
By
that
the
Danny
way,
Thomas in
AOC
his
does
office.
not like Jill Stein.
Alex is trying to explain this.
Danny Thomas in his office had a glass coffee table, and what he liked to do was to lie under the glass coffee table and have hookers take a dump on it. Okay? Now, I don't know if it's true.
I Googled it, Alex, because my friend got really mad when I told her that story.
Yeah.
And when you Google it, it says there is a known story about that people have heard about.
Yeah.
I think they
read
wrapped
it on the
Danny
internet.
Thomas up in saran
Yeah,
wrap
well,
just in case something
they're eating
accidentally
dogs and
slides
cats.
off.
Well, no, because I had a friend
About as good as Ozzy Osbourne
who was a
eating chicken.
comedy writer who went to work for Danny Thomas on the last TV show he ever did. And she said that he called her into his office, and she went in there, and he wasn't in the office yet, and she sat down on the couch, and right in front of her was a glass coffee table.
There's too many stories.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Definitely a glass
Well,
coffee
I went to
table
Springfield and there was a cat there.
In a pot.
You know something, though? I'm thinking the glass coffee table thing, I don't care. He did a good thing there by building that hospital. And he didn't, it's one of those guys who decide to build a hospital like that. And he really did it,
And, and those people
going.
say that they don't have a bill. That kid goes there for cancer treatments
They
and
don't
they've
get-
never had a bill.
The
and stuff like that.
parents,
I mean,
the parents get put up at motels, and it's paid for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Charlene.
Me? Okay. No, I heard a thing that Johnny Carson, I didn't know that. He donated to, it's the John W. or H. Carson. I forget if it's like a cardiac thing or something. He donated a lot of money when he passed away to
Well, he had a son. He
California.
had a son who died,
Oh, okay. I didn't realize
and
that.
and that was
Okay.
probably who the hospital was named
And
after
also
the
Frank
war.
Sinatra had a Barbara Marx and Frank Sinatra wing that he did before they died.
Yeah.
Oh, Sinatra built the biggest hospital in Palm Springs too.
For children, I think, because the wife wanted that.
Was it for
Barbara
children?
Marx.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well,
Yeah.
all I know is I don't like these ads where they have these pathetic kids, with tubes up their arms or whatever, and they're looking pathetic
Yeah.
on screen. Won't you help little Bobby? And
Cali
with
Struthers.
St. Jude's, all these kids are happy. The only people crying are the parents who are crying out of gratitude. But it's not. It doesn't take advantage. It doesn't exploit the kids, and that's why I.
But if they're still putting the amount of money toward the actual end goal, does it? No.
It really that's
Shriners is 85 cents.
82 cents is very good. It's
Right.
incredible.
Said Shriners is 85.
Shriners
That's
is
what I was
85.
talking about, where you're saying they're at the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very.
Adrian Neary is 100% for her.
So is Jason McKinney.
Yeah.
Donate to Jason McKinney. Goes 100% to Jason McKinney.
I'll make
I
sure
still
she gets
think
every
some of that-
penny.
I'll tell you, when I die, she
Some of
can
that
have my
gotta go
studio.
to Gavin.
Okay.
Gab
You have your
that
glass table. What'd you say?
Oh boy.
Get
Anyway.
all the DVDs in the background. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look at Charlie's wall next to
Yeah,
you.
Charlie wants those.
I'll take them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Where's our folder today?
What? Where's
Where's
our,
our folder today?
our folder today?
Yeah.
I'm
Never
Bill.
mind.
Tom Giller.
Oh,
yeah,
Don
Don
Giller.
Giller.
Oh yeah, no, we haven't heard from him lately. But anyway,
Hey,
don't
Don, we miss your
say it.
folder.
He'll
Nice to see
call
that
at the
fall
last
over.
minute, and then we'll have to, spend time. Anyway, hey, listen, we've run out of time. Thanks, Jeffrey Stein. We appreciate it. Thanks to Alan, and thanks to Charlie. And, Jason, nice that the wife has let you out tonight.
Right.
Kevin, thank you so much. Charlene, good seeing you again. Tony, good seeing you.
So jealous, Brian.
Brian Neary and Adrian. Good night, Adrian. Say good night to your father for me. And finally, goodbye to Bree, who's eating food and having a hard time because they look like Charlie's toes. Just think of Charlie's toes as you eat that. Anyway, everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the citizen panel for tonight. That's the citizen panel for this week. We'll be assembling again on Monday at 4 o'clock on Facebook, and then we'll see you right back here on YouTube and a lot of other things on Wednesday of next week. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, of course, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.